Well, good morning. We made it to the beginning of fall semester. That started Monday, 2 days ago. Today's Wednesday, August 31st. And I'm going to defer to talk about the first week of school and sort of where I'm at in the process of my little changes about where I'm going to be living and those things until next week. That way we've got a week of school to talk about, and I can tell you how classes are going and whatnot. I will tell you, yes, I'm in 4 classes. 2 have already started to start in about 2 weeks. But I'm already pre-studying for those. Today, something that's been on my mind the most, not so much today, but over the last week or so, has been about being true to yourself. As you go down this journey, it's important to understand who you are or who you think you are, and kind of hone in on the few key things that are really important to you and not get swayed by, oh, I got accepted to 10 schools. I could get into Harvard. I could go to Hawaii. I could go to Switzerland. Look at me. I've gotten into 15 schools. That's exciting. Don't miss that part of the journey. You know, if you've always dreamed of being accepted at a top tier school, apply and see if you can get in. If you don't get in, I guess it's not a problem. But, you know, your best and worst case scenario on any school is, oh, I got in, now what? We've talked about that before. However, one of the things that can maybe inadvertently hold us back a little bit is we get swayed by that excitement. You're sitting at your desk or your kitchen table and you've got 15, or we'll just say 5 or 6 schools that you researched and looked at and were in places you could see yourself living, and you got excited about it, and now they've all accepted you. You know, we'll say, there's our dream. It all came true. We got accepted to all these schools. And what you decide to do is, you know, it comes back to your situation. Every one of us in this journey is in a different situation. I'm single and somewhat unencumbered. I don't have a boyfriend right now. My son is grown and self-sufficient. That's why I was able to make all these decisions and just do what I wanted to do and look ahead and do what I want to do. You may have a husband with but no children. You may be a single parent with small children. You may be a single parent, maybe with grown children that are living in your house. You know, maybe you rent an apartment, maybe you own a condo, maybe you own a house, maybe you rent a house, maybe you're living with your children. You know, you could be old enough that you're living in a senior center and you want to go back to school. And so for every one of us, our situation is going to be a little bit different. But when I say be true to yourself, I mean be true to what you think will help you be successful. And I was having a conversation with somebody just about a little bit about my journey. And what came up was they mentioned how sad they would be if I was so far away for school that we didn't even get to see each other during my journey. We'll say a 2-year journey. I wouldn't get to see them at all, or maybe I would get to see them once a year. And that's a real concern, because I'll use myself as an example. In my situation, I'm looking ahead at the next 2 years, and I'm a broke college student. Whether I have a part-time job, whether I get scholarships, financial aid, you know, even if I found a great full-time job that would still allow me to do almost a full-time school load, where's the time in that? You're going to be working a lot, and then you're going to school a lot. So there's no middle of the road there to give you free time to go, except maybe in the summer, and then you're trying to make money too. And in talking to this person, I realized that it's such a wonderful pipe dream to get accepted to a lot of schools that are all over the place. But that if your life is in Texas and you go to school in Maine, that's an expensive trip for a broke college student. And depending upon your family resources, in my case, say extended family, like my son, they're not going to have the resources to come visit me or to help me come visit them, except maybe once a year. mean, I could plan for it to come at the holidays perhaps, or maybe in the summer during break. No, I didn't apply to a school in Maine. I use that as an extreme example. It's kind of a good time to sit down and say, well, what are the things that are most important to me? If I have no money for 2 years, and what's the degree I want to get? I mean, you've probably already chosen schools that are going to give you the degree you want. Look at those locations again. Was it really a pipe dream? You got into Harvard, but do you really want to live where Harvard is? Can you afford to do that? Are you going to feel good about, the possibly, if you don't get a full scholarship, or scholarship money, the kind of debt you might end up, carrying with you the rest of your life, depending upon how old you are, of course. If you're in a situation where, you're married and you have maybe a small child at home and you're working part-time, being a parent, and trying to fit some classes in, then, maybe an online program is good for you and you can be right at your house and not leave. That's the beauty of today's education system, is we have so many options, no matter what a woman wants to do, and men too. My message is for all of us women. No matter what you want to do, there's probably an option that can fit and work for you. And there's plenty of schools that can help do that. But you have to know sort of what your deal breakers are. And doing a pro and con list can be very helpful in that. Just, you researched your schools, now research yourself a little. When those 5, acceptances are laying in front of you, there's obviously ways you can still narrow those down, from location to money. Then you're going to go back and you're going to say, okay, all things being equal, what are my pros and cons for me, for Amy? I want to see my son at least 2 or 3 times a year, at least for the next 2 years. End of story. I need to, that helps keep me sane. It helps keep me from getting sad and depressed. He's a wonderful person. I love spending time with him. I love my future daughter-in-law. These are people I want to see. They're probably going to have a baby or get pregnant during that time, so I'll want to be around for some of that. I don't need to be down the street. I need to be able to be in a location that affords me, by car or by plane, affordable transportation to get to see them. I also, for me, sounds wonderful to go to school in Hawaii. But again, that becomes an unaffordable to come back and visit them, or for them to visit me. And I don't want to feel isolated. We've talked about isolation before. I've talked about it before. And once the euphoria of, I'm here and I'm here in this wonderful place and it's exciting, and you get into the grind of school because it's right there and it's hands-on and you're doing it every single day, the euphoria wears off and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not happy, I'm lonely. And it doesn't matter that you have classmates or that you meet good friends. If you're a person that needs to see your family or needs to feel connected to longtime friends, then you need to put yourself in a place where you're going to have that or can visit that. Now, I'm not trying to be a dream crusher. I would also tell you, if you're a person that says, I have no ties, I have no children, I'm in a situation where let's go do it, then go do it. Go wherever you want. Experience the new. If I did not have my son, I'd go to Hawaii. I'd apply to that expensive school in Switzerland. I'd look at, staying in Brazil a long time and hanging out with family. I'd go all kinds of places because I wouldn't feel the pull to be back closer to my son and to meet a future grandchild or be involved in their lives and not feel left out. I am a person that does not like to feel left out. So that is knowing and being true to myself. And the best way as you go along this journey is make sure you're being true to yourself. Don't get caught up in the how exciting, how wonderful. And then the reality is you're miserable because you're used to having Sunday dinner with your parents or with your family, extended family maybe, or just your friends. You know, maybe through this, as you've started it, you have a group of girlfriends in where you live that you meet once a week. Dinner club, book club, church, whatever that is for you. Think about that. You know, even if they're all very supportive, you have to be realistic about you, not, you know, shut out that noise of excitement that you're hearing from everyone else and be true to you, because that's what's going to make the difference as to whether you're successful or not. And, you know, the only thing I could say to that is, if you're still, no, I'm sure this is what I want to do, then go do it. Do it. You know, I'm a big believer in what's the worst that can happen, because once you know what the worst that can happen is, then you can do anything. You know, it takes away the fear of that, although a little fear is good. So what's the worst that can happen? You go to a school that you dreamed about going to maybe your whole life, and you go for one semester and it's not what you wanted. It's not satisfying you. It's much more of a struggle. Well, okay, done. I went to the school I always wanted to go to. Now I'm going to go choose a different school. There's no penalty in that. None. The beauty of being over 30, of, you know, being smart, beautiful women that we are, is we can make our different choice every single day. You know, be a good person and understand what makes you tick. And if you don't know everything that makes you tick, that's okay. I learn every single day what I think will make me happy and what won't. And some days I'm all over the map. You can ask my mother, you can ask my son, you can ask my future daughter-in-law, you can ask some of my closest friends. Some days I'm a hot mess of thought and crazy in my head. But other days it's all very clear, and the clarity is outstanding. Outstanding. So the message today is, be true to who you are. You know, be true to those thoughts and those things that make you, you, and that will help make you successful. Signing off. Video's already longer than I like. You know, I don't like long videos, and sometimes I get too wordy. I will touch base with you the beginning of next week. We'll talk about how my fall semester is starting out. And hopefully by Monday, because I'm kind of running on some deadlines here, I'll be able to let you know where it looks like I'll be living. Bye.